So I caught my first glimpse at Beastars earlier in this year. I took a look at a couple of manga scans and I honestly didn't think too much of it. The art style definitely set itself apart, but I didn't give it a fair chance. Then Studio Orange puts out a couple of previews for the upcoming anime series and my attention was definitely grabbed. Then I watched the first 2 episodes of that series and now I'm blown away. So today we are talking about the wonderful world of Beastars and how it completely subverted my expectations. Now, if you have not heard of this series, let me paint you a picture. Animals. Lots and lots of animals. Now, I know it's cheap and very unfair, but this is basically the Zootopia school drama. That's kind of what we're dealing with here. I was contemplating whether I should title the video that. I'm not going to do that because, again, I find it extremely cheap, but it's basically that. It is a humanoid animal people kind of series, and it's a bit jarring when you jump into this series, I'm not gonna lie to you. You also have Studio Orange's fantastic CG as well, and right off the bat you get this sense that this is a very different kind of series. Now, Studio Orange, I feel, has matured quite a bit over the last couple of years. I think that this is some of the finest CG animation I have ever seen in an anime series. Before they worked on Hoseki no Kuni, which is one of my favorite series of that year and has fantastic animation, has fantastic CG, but here I just see it even more amplified. I think one of the things I sort of disliked about Hoseki was the faces, these human faces. I mean, they were gems, but they were basically humans, and it felt very stilted, it felt very stiff, and that might have been their intention, but here, I think it works even better. I think that the CG works well because of their nature, because that they aren't humans. You don't have to capture that element of them. I also think, in fairness, Hoseki no Kuni could have been done with hand-drawn animation. I think it could have worked that way. There's obviously some intense scenes in that series that suggest that this is impossible to do with hand animation, but for the most part, the majority, that series could have been done in 2D. But with this series, I think it serves for CG animation a bit more than Hoseki. I really do believe that. The way these animals move, the way these characters interact with each other, it just works. I don't ever question it. With Hoseki, I was always questioning it, like, I mean, this looks good, but again, it's CG, it kind of looks funny in some parts, the characters move a little weird, but again, here, it just feels natural to me. I actually heard that they mocapped some of the actors in these roles, and you can tell the characters move like people would move. It kind of reminds me of like a video game. It reminds me of playing like Uncharted. Like, that's how a person moves when he vaults over a ledge, and this is how a character moves when he walks onto stage. It just works, and my hat is absolutely off for Studio Orange. This, again, is some of the finest CG animation I've ever seen. This is definitely going to be sort of the pinnacle in terms of how to do CG animation in a type of series. Now, to me, this series is not only about how great the animation is, it's also about the direction. My lord, the direction in this series. I can't believe it. I honestly can't. The sort of inner monologues and sort of the inner battles within these characters and the way that is conveyed to the audience is beyond me. It honestly is. I have not seen this caliber of direction in an anime in a very long time. The stuff with inside Lugosi's head, when Lugosi's like thinking inside of himself about what he should say and what he should do. My God, when he's battling within himself, when he has Haru in his arms and he's about to rip her apart, that sort of battle there with his inner self, like, just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Again, I think that the animation is definitely great, but the direction is by far the best part about this series. Now, I mentioned that we're dealing with animals here, and I want to talk about a couple of these animals. Now, the main character, Lugosi, is absolutely fascinating to me. Now, this is a sort of weird comparison I'm going to make here, but I honestly see a lot of Barry in him from HBO's series Barry. Bill Hader plays this character that's basically a absolute killer. He's a murderer. He's a hitman, but he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be a hitman, and he's trying to move away from that life constantly, time and time again. He fails. And that's kind of what I see in Lugosi as a character a bit. maybe I'm just getting a bit of the Bill Hader mannerisms as well. I really enjoy this sort of battle within himself. It's extremely entertaining to see him struggling. And I know that's horrible. That's a horrible thing to say, but it's just so well done. It's just so well written. Lugosi as a character is sort of a reclusive type. He's a bit shy, and for good reason. He wants to kill animals. He wants to eat them. He is a predator, and that is absolute taboo in this world, this picture that the author painted. And you get that sense right off the bat. You understand what kind of consequences there is to that, how big of a taboo that is right off the bat, and it flows naturally, it flows organically, and that again goes to the direction. There's a bit of a mystery in the first episode, actually, on who's killing these students, on what's going on, and I'm not even sure if Lugosi killed that first person. I don't think he did. I think that there might be another predator there. Or maybe he did, and he's just burying that within himself. Maybe he doesn't want to admit that to himself, and it just makes Lugosi even more of a complex character. In the first episode, we see him snatch up Haru as a character, and we see that battle that he has within himself, as I mentioned, and we sort of understand that he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to eat these people. He's fighting that urge constantly, and with this girl, with Haru, he can't. And I really find that, again, fascinating about how the character is going to progress. I don't really know. I honestly don't. I think that Haru and him are definitely going to befriend each other. I think that they're going to find time to sort of bond. I don't know when, I don't know where, and I don't know how, but the opening sort of suggests that. By the way, one of the best anime openings ever. Period. Ever. Not even joking. Easily the best of this year. Easily the best of the last 5 years. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how that came to be, how the conception of stop motion worked, but it just works. It works so well. Then there's Haru, as I mentioned. Now, Haru is sort of the second main protagonist in this series, and I feel that her as a character, in terms of the writing, truly capitalizes on sort of the realism and human side of this story, of this setting, similar to a Zootopia. There is this human side to all of these animals, and I think that her character conveys that more so than most. In the first episode, we see that there are these rumors circulating around about her. She slept with some guy, or some animal, excuse me. It was someone else's boyfriend. Everyone kind of hates her. But then the second episode comes, and she's not in it too much, but, in the latter half, we see that, what kind of character she is, and it kind of hurts. It honestly does. Like, I see her as damaged goods. I see her as this character that's been through something, someone hurt her to get her of this mindset that she has to do this to make people happy. And that's just frankly disturbing. It really is. And it's just so fantastic. It is so ripe and realistic and grounded, and it just works so well. Another character that capitalizes on realism is Louis. Louis, to me, I typically hate this kind of character. The sort of pretty boy, prep, most popular guy in school. I always, in every anime and every movie, every TV show, he's the worst character. Like, he's just dumb. I don't like him. Stereotypical, that sort of deal. But here, in the second episode especially, we see that he has a more human side to him. He has a more, honestly, he's the most relatable character in the series, probably. Because of the struggle he has to go through to create that image. It is an image. It's a sort of shell. And in the second episode, when he gets hurt and we see him backstage, he's struggling. His leg is like all bruised and beaten up because of the fall. He tried to help his upper classmate, or his lower classmate, I believe. He falls and he catches him, and he gets hurt in the process, and that affects his work on stage. And he sort of limps, and then when he gets onto stage, he just walks normal. And I believe that was mocap. That had to be motion capture, because it just, again, felt like extremely realistic movement. And that scene right off the bat, like in the episode, you're kind of, in the entire series, you're kind of meant to hate him. You're not really supposed to like Louis, but then right then and there, like, oh, I'm starting to sympathize with this character. I'm starting to understand that might be a shell. That might be a sort of personality that he pushes to hide his weaknesses. And again, just so relatable and so powerful in terms of how to develop characters. We don't need to tell the audience deliberately, hey, he's a good guy deep down, don't worry. He might act like a, pretty boy, snooty guy here, but deep down, he's a good guy, you know it. I didn't know it right off the bat. I thought he was gonna be that stereotypical character, and then there's these little undertones here and there that suggest that there's more to him. And again, fantastic writing, fantastic direction. The way that is conveyed to the audience isn't as deliberate as it normally would be in most series. What else praise can I give this series? Let me think. The setting. Now, they say that writing is basically problem solving. And I honestly think that the mangaka, the writer of this series, solved one of the biggest problems that plague other school dramas, other slice of lives, other just series that are set at schools. And that's home life. I don't want to see Legosi's parents. I don't want to see Haru's mom and dad. I don't want to see them, eating dinner with their family. Like, I want to see these characters interacting with each other constantly, and they do. Creating a college campus style high school is the ultimate shortcut. It immediately alleviates that problem, and it alleviates it in a very organic and natural way. I find the story actually and the setting itself very Western, and how the characters interact, characters sleeping around, and it just feels like a very sort of Western high school drama, and I find that extremely refreshing in terms of other anime series as well. I think a lot of anime series that deal with school deal with a lot of tropes and deal with a lot of things that other series do, and that might be just a part of the culture of things in Japan. I mean, obviously it is, but here they're not really constricted to that. The author's not constricted to abide by the rules of what school is like in Japan. They can do whatever they want, and you see that right off the bat. This school is very different, and again, it happens organically and it happens naturally, and it just makes the series that much more entertaining. Time and time again, these series that are coming to Netflix, I start watching them, and then I'm like, I guess I'll wait, because I don't want to have to keep waiting for these episodes. I guess I'll wait till they hit Netflix, and then I'll watch them there. Not because I want to binge them, but just because I want to watch them in a place that's easy to watch them and not have to scour the web for them. And I think that with this series, it's sort of worth that scouring. It's worth the struggle, and it's just fantastic. I highly recommend it. If you watch this video and you haven't watched this series yet, do yourself the utmost favor and watch it. I'll maybe put a link down below in the description. Again, I don't want to support piracy, but if there's no other way to watch this series, absolutely no other way to watch it here. Maybe watch it later on Netflix to support it, but I have Netflix. I own Netflix. I will watch this series, but again, it's just, they make things difficult. They kind of put this on themselves. So anyway, I'll put a link down in the description below so you guys can check out the first 2 episodes. The 3rd episode should be out by, at the time of recording this, Friday, which is tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be able to watch it then. Maybe I'll do a review of it if that's something that you guys want to see. Comment down below. Let me know if you want to see more Beastars content on this channel. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you very, very much for staying with the video. If you enjoyed anything that I had to talk about today, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps me out, lets me know that I can keep doing this thing. And also, something else that helps me out is subscribing. I'm really trying to push this channel forward, and it would mean a lot if you joined the party and became a part of this channel. I got lots of crazy stuff in store. Also, you can follow me on Twitch if you want to catch me drawing or catch me playing some random game. That's always fun as well. Again, thank you very, very much for watching, and until next time, stay spooky. Bye-bye.